Hi, I'm Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. By accessing this presentation, you're inviting me to share this information regarding our passage through this challenging and very hopeful time. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of December 18th, 2012, One Earth in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar, and we'll also discuss the 4 Ahau Tzolkin date on the solstice, Mars moving into Aquarius, and the Cancer full moon. December 18th is One Kaban, or Earth, which carries the themes of natural rhythms, synchronizing with the heart, with Mother Earth, inspiration, powers of creation, earthquakes, ancient wisdom, and flowing with the natural order. And the Maya believed that the same energy that is the soul of the heart also resides in the earth. And the day symbol for Earth also represents the interconnectedness of our emotions with the Earth's emotions. Ian Lungold wrote, "Sometimes the Earth's delicate sensitivities are upset, resulting in quakes of emotions and even displays of a volcanic temper." I think it's interesting that neurophysicists have discovered that our hearts radiate the body's strongest electromagnetic frequency in a torus field. And this field is holographic and arcs out and returns to the axis of our heart and extends from our pelvic floor up to the crown of our head. And the Earth it also is the center of a holographic electromagnetic torus field, as is the solar system, as is the galaxy. So it's really interesting to note that because of their holographic nature, there is the belief that there is only one universal torus field, which means that our hearts are connected to the Earth, the solar system, the galaxy, and ultimately the universe. And it's fractal. Where we don't just have a part, but the whole is represented in each of us. And these 13 days would be best used to change our patterns to be more heart-centered and in balance with our Earth Mother. Astrologically, the One Earth Tzolkin, or 13-day period, begins with Jupiter retrograde, which is the only planet that still appears to be moving backward from our vantage point here on Earth. Astrologically, the most important event of this 13-day period is the solstice, and it's winter in the north and summer in the southern hemisphere. And what this chart here represents are the planets as they'll be on December 21st, 2012. Have you noticed that just about every astrologer now has become a Mayan calendar expert, and offering their opinions about its meanings? I think that's because there's not much astrological significance in this chart for this upcoming solstice. But I do think that the charts of solstices and equinoxes are really important as guides to the themes that, of what we'll experience over the next 3 months following the event. So what can we say about this solstice? Well, of course, the sun is changing signs, moving into Capricorn, and that's the significance of it being the solstice, and that movement creates a harmonious angle between the Sun and Neptune in Pisces, as looked at from the Earth here. And what that angle is a 60-degree sextile, which that brings a strong spiritual energy, potential psychic experiences, and greater awareness of the needs of others. And then also we have Saturn in Scorpio, and it's also forming a 60-degree angle from our perspective here on Earth, with Pluto in Capricorn, and this is called mutual reception because these planets are in each other's signs, and this brings a quality of working as a team. This can be challenging, but also can kind of bring strength to move through a karmic judgment that yields a more empowered individual whose energy is focused due to limiting factors. And then these two planets each form an uncomfortable alignment with Jupiter in Gemini. This is called a quincunx, which is 150 degrees. And when you have the two planets in a sextile quincunxing a third planet, this is what we call a yod, or a finger of fate. And this one will be in effect for most of December, but it peaks between the 20th and the 22nd. And Jupiter is about expansion. Gemini is communication. So this is being the focal point of this yod. It feels like an uncomfortable process where the truth comes out. Also in this solstice chart, we have Venus in opposition to Jupiter. From our perspective here on Earth, that's a 180-degree angle, which can open new doors that allow expansion. And those two planets form a square, a 90-degree angle, to Chiron, which we call that a T-square, where the focus is on the wounded healer. And this brings stress between finding a system of values that enhances spirituality or just seeking one emotional high after another, while also activating the consciousness about social justice and freedom, along with a resonation with multidimensional realities. So here we are, we're at the One Earth Tzolkin, which contains this infamous solstice on 4 Ahau, at the much heralded end of the Mayan long count. So does anybody ever wonder how this date was determined? Well, the date of December 21st, 2012, as the end of the fourth world prior to beginning the fifth world, does not come from the Maya. This date was something that is called the Goodman-Martinez-Thompson correlation, and it was first hypothesized by Joseph Goodman in 1905, and he was a journalist and reportedly Mark Twain's first editor. And then later it was adjusted by one day by Juan Martinez Hernandez in 1926, and then adjusted by an additional day by John Eric Sidney Thompson in 1927, which was named by Thompson as the GMT correlation in 1935. They used the Mayan dating of astronomical events to calculate the beginning of the long count. And then the term 584,283 correlation comes from the formula Thompson employed to arrive at the date of August 11th, 3114 BC. And the number 584,283 is the number of days one has to count from Julian day number 0 to arrive at August 11th, 3114 BC. As with any scholarly work, there have been those who accepted this hypothesis and then also those who have disputed it. Dr. Carl Kalaman's research into the stellate Kobah yielded his model for the 9-level Mayan tune calendar as a map of the acceleration of creation, which he originally stated would complete on October 28, 2011, on his determined end date of 13 Ahau. And I found it very interesting that Kalaman's, quote, scientific work includes ignoring data that doesn't fit his hypothesis. In his first book, he shows the stela in Kobah and clearly labels the segment that shows 4 Ahau, but then removes all references to it in his later books, probably because it conflicts with his proposed end date of 13 Ahau. And then John Major Jenkins has argued for the December 21st, 2012 end date based on our sun crossing the galactic plane ecliptic on that date. When scientists confirmed that the galactic alignment actually occurred in 1998, he adjusted his stance, stating that the sun was half a degree wide from our perspective here on Earth, and that the alignment has an orb that would still include the current winter solstice. Well, this orb actually begins in 1980 and completes in 2016 with an astounding 36-year span of time, but in no way pinpoints the current solstice as the trigger moment of a quantum shift. So what we have here is we have groups of individuals adjusting their data to support their belief systems. And that given that during the time period of 5,125 year long count, the West also transitioned from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar, and that the Maya may have adjusted their count of days to more accurately represent the energies that they were experiencing at the time. It becomes further complicated to accurately calculate the beginning of the long count and thus its completion date. Dr. Jose Aguirre's, using his controversial dream scale calendar, that continues into 2013. But what I resonate most strongly with is with Mayan elder Don Alexandro, who repeatedly stated that the Mayans have lost track of the long count and do not know when the fourth world will complete prior to the beginning of the fifth world. He does state that the wisdom that was given to him by previous elders does prophesize that the transition would be marked by 72 hours of darkness. Whatever you wish to believe about this upcoming solstice being the end of the long count or not, I think none of us can predict our future, but we have a choice but we can choose to live fully in this moment. Life is finite. So savor what you have rather than getting lost in the fear or possible ecstasy that the future may bring. Now is all we really truly have. So experience it, live it, love it. Be here now. And I'm going to discuss this all in much more depth in a radio interview on the Earth Needs Rebels show on Critical Mass Radio and Free Thinking Voice. And that will be at 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the United States on December 21st. And I'll also include the link at the New World Birth YouTube and Facebook pages if you're interested in listening in on that interview because it will be online. Okay. Let's look at the daily vibrational energy of this Tricenter. We have December 18th is One Earth. This is unity experience through gratitude for Mother Earth. As the Pisces moon is challenged by Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury, this finds support from Saturn and harmonizes with Pluto. The day begins pleasantly with the enjoyment of social interactions, and then later shifts to more sedate moods with a desire to feel on a deep level. And then there's folks sharing their enlightened beliefs, which may be more like pontificating, particularly if alcohol is involved. And then finally, people sharing their criticisms of others. The 19th is 2 Flint in the Tzolkin calendar. This is a duality experience through reflection and introspection. As Venus finds support from Uranus. So from our perspective here on Earth, this is forming a 120-degree trine. And this brings the desire for the unusual and unexpected in our relationships. A romantic relationship that begins under this transit will likely be surprising, exciting, electric, unstable, and short. With the moon in Pisces stimulated by Mars, it brings a desire to work independently from others. And then December 20th, this is 3 Storm. This is about taking action through appreciating the gifts in adversity, as Venus is challenged by Chiron, which brings tension to heal the past, particularly related to relationships. With the first quarter moon challenged by the Sun and Pluto and merging with Uranus and finding support from Venus and harmonizing with Jupiter, the day begins with a challenge to our daily structure, and then later feels impulsive, then having pleasant feelings for those in our immediate environment, and finally congenial interactions, but also the feeling compulsive that could lead to doing things that may not really be good for us in the long run. And then we get to the 21st, for Ahau, or sun. This is stability found through honoring the wisdom of the ancestors as the sun moves into Capricorn, which brings us the solstice, winter in the north, summer in the south, which we discussed in detail at the beginning of the Earth report. And as Aries moon finds support from Mercury, which has people being more in touch with their feelings and the ability to express those feelings to others. Well, given that this is then marking the 13th Baktun, I guess this is the end of the report. Nah, I'm just kidding. Because it keeps going, because everything keeps going. December 22nd is 5 crocodile in the Tzolkin. This is empowerment through nurturing new beginnings. What it has is that's the day that we have the sun in Capricorn harmonizing with Neptune in Pisces. So again, this is another 60-degree angle, which brings a pleasant flow between our conscious world and our spiritual world through intuition, imagination, meditation, and creativity. While Venus is opposed by Jupiter, which brings caution against overindulgence, but also a great joy and pleasure as long as it's not excessive. We also have the moon being challenged by Mars in harmony with Neptune and supported by the sun. The day begins with folks acting rationally, emotionally, and hastily due to being irritable, which could lead to needless disputes. But then it later shifts to sensitivity to others' moods and possible psychic experiences, while also growing more pleasant feelings, which can benefit relationships between the sexes. And then the 23rd, this is 6 wind, which is about being in the flow through communication, with the Taurus moon opposed by Saturn and supported by Pluto. This can be disruptive to relationships by bringing feelings of isolation while stimulating our sensitivity and intensifying our emotions. December 24th is 7 night. This is about reflection through contemplating the stars, with the moon making no major aspects. This is good day to rest and integrate the new energies that we're experiencing. And then the 25th is 8 seed, which is about balance through planting seeds and making new connections, as Mars then moves across this line into Aquarius, which brings energy and the desire to engage in humanitarian activities, to bring people together for the good of the collective. While the sun is challenged by Uranus from this, which is a 90-degree angle, we call it a square, which casts its light on rebellion, so people may be more contrary on the 25th. So expect the unexpected. And on that day, we have the moon finding support from Mars, challenged by Neptune, stimulated by Uranus, and merging with Jupiter. The day begins with being able to assert ourselves in a positive manner, and then later, fantasies and illusions seem more important than reality, and then it shifts to feeling pleasant yet restless, and finally, we have good feelings and generosity to others. December 26th is 9 Serpent. This is about patience through being flexible, as Saturn is in harmony with Pluto, and it has these planets working together due to their mutual reception of being in each other's signs, which may bring a commitment to engage in transformational activities when faced with limitations, which will last through the end of December. While the sun also is stimulated by Chiron, which illuminates our past wounds so that they can become conscious and therefore are available to be released. with the Gemini moon opposed by Venus, which brings the desire for pleasant interchanges with those we love. And then the 27th in the Tzolkin, this is 10, transformation. This is about manifestation through letting go of what no longer serves us, with the moon being opposed by Mercury, supported by Neptune. This brings a conflict between our emotions and logic early in the day, and then it shifts to daydreaming, taking precedence over daily routines. And then on the 28th, we're at 11, Deer. This is resolution through being of service to others, with the full moon at 7 degrees of Cancer, challenged by Uranus, opposed by the Sun and Pluto, and supported by Saturn, which forms a T-square with Uranus and Aries forming a 90-degree angle to the moon, which is opposite the Sun and Pluto in Capricorn. This is a really powerful full moon for a number of reasons. Besides the T-square, we have a grand trine in water with the Cancer moon, Saturn in Scorpio, and Chiron in Pisces, which forms a kite with the Sun-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn acting as the tail. And all these forces are really about transformation and transmutation on many, many levels, from structures to emotions to wounds to our way of thinking. And although the T-square speaks of tension and challenges, the grand trine softens the sharp edges during this emotional lunation, which is moving us beyond our fears and uncertainty. The 29th, this is 12 star. This is about understanding through appreciating abundance in relationships, as the moon makes no major angles, which might be a good day to catch our breath while we're experiencing some downtime in the transit field. December 30th, this is 13 offering. This is movement to the next stage through being in harmony with creation as the Sun merges with Pluto, which illuminates and intensifies the yod that we talked about earlier in this report, as it harmonizes with Saturn, which intensifies our experiences with powerful results and gives us self-discipline to get things done. With the Leo moon being opposed by Mars and finding support from Uranus, harmonizing with Jupiter, and challenged by Saturn, the day's emotional wave begins with folks being easily irritated and having a short fuse, and then later moves to craving emotional excitement, and then having congenial interactions with others, and finally feelings of loneliness and isolation. So no matter what the energies are that are affecting you during this One Earth Tzolkin, take some time out to be in the flow of the planet by being in nature and watching a sunrise or a sunset, communing with the stars, being conscious of the moment through introspection or meditation, or being with someone you love, just really being conscious with them. Every single day we have is a blessing, no matter what the dramas are that beckon to distract us. We're all here giving the performance of a lifetime on the world stage. So take some time out to observe the play as well as act your part. It's key that we all remember that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So I want to thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of Care and Feeding of a New World Age will be on December 31st for one dog, and we'll discuss both Mercury and Venus moving into Capricorn and the Capricorn new moon. You can check us out on Facebook, which has daily I post the text from these videos, or YouTube, which has the complete collection of videos from the last 2 years, or the Mayan Magic's website, which includes this video, but also includes all the testimonials that people have written regarding readings that they that I've provided. As always, I invite you to email me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions or you wish to schedule a reading. I am providing readings and wish to make this service available to the greatest amount of folks. So I've created 3 options with 3 levels of compensation. These readings are designed to provide information to help you navigate these difficult times. At the basic level, we'll look at your human design chart to help you understand how to use your individual strategy and authority in making life decisions based on your unique design. I'll include 3 months of astrological transits as they relate to your natal and progressed astrology chart, along with the human design at the middle level. And then at the top level, the human design and astrology transit reading will be recorded and sent to you as an MP3 file to be downloaded on your computer so that you can listen to it over and over again while looking at all the charts that I send for any level of the reading. So if you've been planning, you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me because I really would love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You'll need to either be able to call me in Maine in the USA or connect with Skype to receive your reading. As always, I'm blessed that you've taken the time out to connect with my passion for these ancient mysteries and their application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste and Lakesh, and I hope to see you on the other side of the solstice.